There's lots of examples of how 5G cellular technology is enhancing what we do when we're at home and what we can do when we're out in the community. One of the telco providers, Optus, has just announced a new example that they aim to assist with how we go shopping to big shopping malls around the country. They're doing a trial at the moment, and we thought we'd have a chat with Harvey Wright. He's the head of 5G at Optus to talk more about what they're doing. How are you, Harvey?
I'm good, thanks, Charlie. Yourself?
Yeah, look, I'm really good, and I'm interested about this augmented reality shopping assistance initiative that you're doing. Just top line, tell us exactly what the goal is here to make people's shopping experiences better with the addition of a 5G enabled handset with Optus.
Yeah, so what we're doing is basically showcasing 5G technology. I mean, folks are increasingly aware of the benefits of what 5G means in terms of better speed, better connectivity. What we're trying to do here is to give them consumers a bit of a glimpse into the future as to how 5G could enable something that everyone's familiar with, in which case, this in this case, sort of a shopping or retail experience. So what we've done is we've partnered with Samsung and Virtual Immersive, a local startup, to build a sort of a proof of concept that shows how using 5G, customers can get an augmented reality experience when they're out and about in a mall or on the high street doing shopping. So what does that mean? It means the application itself will be able to show a three-dimensional virtual reality version of a product that a customer is interested in. So they could be interested in a new pair of shoes, for example, and using a combination of technologies, the application would alert the customer to the fact that it is that particular pair of shoes in the size that's right for the customer is available in a particular store. And then the customer will be able to sort of interact with that in terms of being able to see the sort of a three-dimensional rendering of the shoe, or even be able to sort of try it on virtually using augmented reality. So sort of project that sort of a rendering of that particular product or garment onto to the customer themselves. So it's a new application. It definitely leverages the technology. In terms of the problem it solves for customers, I think what we're seeing is that at the moment there's this concept of either bricks and mortar retail, so walking into a store, be that in a mall or in the high street, or online shopping. So from your computer at home or on your smartphone. And what this application does is it tries to bring together a bit of a hybrid solution. So it's got the enjoyment of going out and shopping, whilst at the same time delivering the convenience of an online retail experience. And it also allows the retailer in this case to sort of provide a greater amount of information and sort of rich insight and data around the products that the customers are buying. So in the demonstration that we've developed, it shows, for example, sustainability information, so the extent to which the product in question has been developed using sustainable resources and supply chain and logistics and that type of thing as well. So it's designed to I suppose bring to life the technology. I think as I mentioned, folks are aware of 5G in terms of connectivity speeds, but this is about really demonstrating how it can change everyday tasks and consumer experiences for customers in sort of a more day-to-day context.
You've only got to go hang out at a shopping mall for a very short amount of minutes before you'll see a mum walking past with kids in tow. And what you notice about the sort of tone of their movement is they're very brisk. They've got a list of things that they want to get done, and they don't have very much time. And what I actually see with what it is that you're doing is you're allowing that kind of consumer to walk past a store, hold the phone up, see whether what it is that they have put on their list is in the store now. And if it is, then they'll go in. And if it's not, they can go on. Is that the kind of opportunity?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the notion of um, getting the best of both worlds. So the browsing experience that shoppers enjoy of being able to sort of wander and view and experience products and services on offer,
Mm,
but at the same time delivering using information and insight and data to enhance that. And you're
mm.
right. Folks that are time poor or rushed or have a particular thing in mind that they don't want to be disturbed by a shop assistant, and they just want to sort of get in and get the product they want. That's a great example as well. But at the same time, impulse shoppers as well. So once you've got the information, you can start to use it in some really interesting ways. So based on previous purchase behavior, using artificial intelligence, having seen you're interested in this particular product, start to make that sort of recommendation. Something most people are familiar with a sort of an online shopping experience, all of a sudden becomes more real in a sort of a physical context as you sort of go through a retail environment and are prompted for services or products that you're interested in.
And I guess because you're already at the shopping center or shopping mall, you can have a much quicker turnaround in procuring that product that you potentially could be interested in while you're there. I mean, look, how often have we gone to the shopping center and thought, well, I just bought a new TV a couple of weeks ago. I didn't tend to look at sound bars, but I kind of forgot that I was going to look at sound bars. All of a sudden, I'm prompted that I was going to look at sound bars. Oh, by the way, there's the local electronic stores down there, and here's a map, and all that sort of enhancement things, I guess, is what you're bringing, correct?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And I think the other sort of dimension here as well is obviously, the very here and now issue around social distancing and the fact that you can't have crowded stores and lots of people crowded around racks of clothes or whatever it is. And so I think this has got a sort of a timely reminder of how to um, like I say, create that sort of hybrid between the physical up close, actually, touching and feeling the product and the more sort of distance of sitting in front of a computer looking at a product. It strikes a sort of a happy medium between the two.
One of the things you've obviously got to make sure of when you step back a bit, Harvey, is you've got 5G in all the shopping malls where you want to do this. How have you been able to focus on doing that? Do all the big shopping malls, the Westfields, for example, all have 5G now? Is that something you're rolling out to if they're not quite there yet?
So, we've deliberately tried to sort of, through this particular proof of concept, through this particular showcase, sort of project ourselves into the future a little bit, just to sort of ignite the imagination around this technology. 5G itself is a sort of a multi-year rollout and upgrade. And not only that, I think something that I'm keen to sort of stress to folks is that the 5G technology itself will evolve. So it's not like the 5G standards are all done and dusted, and the technology is good to go, and it's just a question of sort of rolling it out. But the capabilities and the functionality that 5G will bring will improve over time. One of the things that this particular application will leverage in the future, and a sort of a term that you'll probably hear a lot more about, is edge compute or edge cloud. So once you've got 5G coverage, and once you've got that sort of low latency, high bandwidth connectivity in shopping malls and elsewhere, all of a sudden the ability to provide real-time information to the customer from the cloud becomes a lot more possible. So in this particular example, we've got a couple of products that we've sort of put into the application. The idea is that we have millions of products and have them available to the customer in real time. And when you've got the ability to sort of store and process large amounts of information using very powerful computers that are very close to the customer in terms of network network terms, so close to what we term the sort of the edge of the network. So that's where the customer actually connects their device. All of a sudden, that smartphone becomes infinitely more powerful, and the capabilities are enhanced because all of that processing is being done in the cloud. So, like I say, I think that's another stage in the evolution of 5G, and probably something that, like I say, consumers out there familiar with this concept of, oh yes, it's 4G but faster, but you're going to see more and more of these new capabilities being introduced in terms of 5G rollout as well.
But so what you're saying, just to drill back to the coverage, you are working to get 5G into shopping centres, because walk around a shopping centre, there's concrete everywhere. I mean, it must be an absolute nightmare for you to get cellular penetration into all the nooks and crannies of a shopping centre, right? So you're actively working to get that rollout at the same time that you're actively working to develop the applications, so it's the push and the pull factor, right? You're pushing the 5G in, and you're creating the applications that want people to have 5G while they're at their shopping mall as well.
Yeah, correct. And look, I think the rollout of 5G is a, like I say, a multi-year complex undertaking, and what you've sort of highlighted in terms of what we term in-building coverage is something that our engineers are constantly working on improving and enhancing. So getting smaller antennas into things like shopping centres, and getting that sort of coverage, which is something that has happened with 4G over the years as well, now has to be sort of revisited as the 5G technology comes along, and really improving the coverage to the point where, like you say, it's in every nook and cranny and sort of ubiquitous. But I think you highlight another important point, right, which is the parallel process of innovation. And what we're trying to do at Optus is work with global partners like Samsung and local startups like Virtual Immersive to really push the frontier of what's possible and to experiment. Because I think that the reality is, we've probably not even thought of the killer app for 5G, and it's all about innovation and experimentation and pushing the frontier of what the technology could do to uncover the full potential of what 5G can bring.
There is so much more to explore and develop and try and fail with and try again when it comes to 5G. We are in its infancy, and it's going to change so much about what we do across the suburb and in our homes as well. Always good to have a chat. Harvey Wright, head of 5G for Optus. Great initiative what you're doing. Thanks for joining us today, and best of luck with developing it further, and those next ideas that you haven't told us all about yet. We'll talk to you about those another time.
Thanks very much, Charlie.